Hello, friends. Hope you're doing well. So, lately I have been consciously evaluating the inputs into the old noggin here. This spurred about because of all the hubbaloo, the fricka-fracka that's happening on Reddit right now. If you're not familiar, if you don't get on Reddit very often, essentially what's happening is the CEO of Reddit, who by and large people don't like apparently, is starting to charge money for their API. And if you don't know what an API is, basically it's anytime an app wants to talk to a website, it needs to access this thing called an API, and every time it wants to do something, it's called a call to the API. So, for example, if you are familiar with YouTube, obviously you're watching YouTube, every time you pull up a video on YouTube, hi Bear's here. Every time you pull up a video on YouTube, all the comments, it's like if you were like load the comments on this video, that would be a call to the API. And if you liked a video, if you subscribed, those are all calls to the API. So, why this is important is that there are third-party apps for Reddit that utilize the API, and up until recently, the API was free to access, which is awesome and kind of unheard of. There's some, like Twitter charges a lot of money to access their API. And so for Reddit to charge nothing, it was great. So these third-party developers are using it. They're developing great apps to use Reddit with. And all of a sudden, Reddit comes in and is like, we want to start charging money for our API because people are training artificial intelligence models using the API, And so it's like, okay, well, they should be able to capture some of that money, especially because it costs them money to run the API. So, that's fair. The problem is the amount they're charging is a bit unhinged, and that it's like, okay, that's fine. You're charging money for a product, essentially. You're like, okay, that's fair. The problem came with the fallout after that is that one of the third-party developers kind of called them out on it. It's like, we can't do business like this, especially because you only gave us a month's notice. They gave them a month to go from $0 to something that's going to cost them like $2 million a month or something insane like that. It's like, we just can't cope with that, so we have to shut down the app. And then the CEO of Reddit lied about the third-party developer blackmailing them, and the blackmailing developer came back and was like, actually, I recorded our conversation. Were you talking about this? And it showed that obviously the CEO knew he wasn't blackmailing him. It was just it's hard if you go get into the weeds. You don't really know. But basically, the guy was blowing smoke at everybody, and then it just kept getting worse. And then Reddit CEO just keeps putting his foot in his mouth and keeps saying the dumbest stuff. So the moderators of Reddit, moderators are people who moderate the content, and they don't get paid to do this. They're volunteers. Were protesting, and they were doing this in a number of ways, shutting down subreddits or only approving certain subreddits. Some subreddits now are like John Oliver themed instead of they was just a general picture subreddit, and now it's like your picture has to have John Oliver in it, which is kind of funny. And then some of them went real crazy. There's one very popular subreddit that just it's adult content now. They're like, whatever you think is interesting, come post it here. And so the adult content is all over it because the in joke there is that Reddit can't put ads on not safe for work subreddits. So now that's a not safe for work subreddit. It's one of the biggest subreddits. But so now that's all explained 5 minutes in, it made me reevaluate kind of my usage of the website Reddit, and kind of being conscious with how certain types of media makes me feel, and I kind of come to the realization that like almost every time, not every time, but almost every time I get on Reddit, I end up feeling worse about my life or the world in general than when I got on the website, because there are so many subreddits, and even though I try to curate my Reddit feed to be kind of niche based to like the stuff I find interesting, my hobbies, and then what I call feel good subreddits or interesting subreddits. There's a lot of just like dog subreddits and stuff like that, or just like weird things on Wikipedia. General videos. There's one I really like called mealtime videos. That's like interesting videos that are like 10 to 20, 30 minutes long that you can. It's something interesting to watch while you eat. Quick meal. I realize that there's still like all these political subreddits, all these, like there's one that's called Awful Everything, and it's just like just reading the titles of the posts. And so if you hit the top of all of Reddit, so you like see there's different filters, and if you click all, and then it just shows you what the most popular things are. Now, invariably, like the negative stuff, it rises to the top, and so you're just like exposed to like fresh new horrors in the world every day. It's there's memes of like look into the rectangle of existential crisis, and that's what it is. And so you're like, man, had it not been for this whole like the Reddit CEO being a jerk to everybody so that he can cash out when they do their IPO, I probably wouldn't have thought about that. And now I'm actively, consciously trying to limit my usage of Reddit and trying to find alternative ways to kind of occupy that turn the brain off time, which luckily, I've got Zelda, I've got Advance Wars. Those two things just came out on the Switch, so that's been occupying a lot of time. I'm looking into Discord. I got back on Tumblr, of all things. I feel like Tumblr's a ghost town. It's better than it was, like, in the past when I've checked it. It was, like, really a ghost town, but, like, it's still kind of sad to go from, what it was a decade ago to what it is now. It's not the same website. And then I've been watching a lot more YouTube. So like, I found some nice podcasty, long form type content. There's two in general. The Rich Roll podcast, and a new one I just found is this like financial. It's a guy who like he does financial audits. His name's Caleb Hammer, and he's great because he's like no BS and just like tells people straight, like, but like he does it. I don't know, the way he does it is so, it's like empathetic, but like at the same time, like telling people like, you messed up, like, and not sugarcoating it. And I'm like, that's perfect. And then I'm realizing like I'm seeing a lot of my habits in the people he's having on his show. So I'm learning a lot too, because I'm not great with money. But I'm trying to be better so I can buy a house, which, I'm like, but I've got, a lot of debt because I consider it investing basically, is that I'm buying new equipment, but I'm like, I've kind of getting to the point of, I can't think of the term. There's a term for it. Something return. I can't think of the term. It's when diminishing returns. Yeah, I'm getting to the point of diminishing returns because, like, I didn't need to buy this camera. The camera I had was great. Although this camera's awesome and I love it and it makes great, awesome work. But it's like, not a lot of clients were hiring me specifically because I had this camera. Like my old camera was just fine and it's still in demand, even though it's almost 10 years old, which is crazy to think of, like a camera in this day and age still having that lifespan for 10 years. And like, it's still perfectly serviceable. Like I could use it for, YouTube stuff. I brought it out on a shoot last week. It's going out on a shoot again in a couple days. So it's like, I didn't need to also spend a lot of money, and I have spent a lot of money on stupid shit with my credit cards. So, I dug myself a hole with that. But I've been a lot better this last year about it, and it's paying things down. Even though like the first couple months of this year were real tight, but now we're into the summer, which is usually kind of busier, and so like checks are coming, and I'm starting to really get aggressive at the debt. And now I've been really conscious about my spending, really conscious about the inputs, and so I feel like things are a little better, but I'm still mentally struggling with a lot of things. Just it's something about, in my searches of new content forms, I'm finding a lot of self-help stuff because I'm just gravitated towards that stuff. And there was a YouTube short I saw that was like super mind-blowing for me. It was a guy said that like generally we treat male depression like female depression, and that oftentimes, obviously this is a generalization, it's a YouTube short, so give him, I don't know how educated or trained this guy was, but what he said resonated with me, so I'm going to tell it to you. In that, with female depression, they generally want to be, loved and accepted, and we try to do that with men, and it doesn't work because men want to feel powerful and capable. And so you think about that, and it's like a lot of the time I don't, like when I'm feeling sad and my girlfriend's like, I love you, this blah 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 blah, and it's like I'm realizing like that's not the way to help me with what's going on in my head. Like what I need to know, like I need you to like bring back like recent wins, because I will downplay my wins like all the time. And so it's like having someone be like, remember when you did this and you did this, like you're strong and you're capable. And then I think from that, there's a old saying that like doing the reps kind of removes the doubt. And if you feel unconfident, you just keep working, keep stacking days, keep making the days, as good as you can, and you find kind of repeatable actions you can do. And after a couple days, it builds momentum, and it starts to be something. And so, this, it's a long rabbit tail to get where we are now. But yeah, so I'm like, for like, the last couple weeks, I've been kind of like, not feeling great. And so, like, just this last couple, week or so, that Reddit has been kind of doing this protest. My hair is crazy right now because I was wearing a hat and now I'm not. Awesome. I need a haircut again. I'm still learning how long I need in between haircuts. God, that looks so stupid. That's the problem. It's that length where it's like it can look good or it could look really stupid. But yeah, so I've slowly been getting mentally better, and that's good because I have been dealing with like pretty heavy anxiety over the last couple months, 6 to 12 months. Like the anxieties have been real heavy, and I've been getting like low grade anxiety attacks, panic attacks, I don't really know what to call them. And I can't afford to go get therapy because it's like I'm in that weird zone. I'm in that, it's like I call it the middle class pain zone, where I make too much money to be like on any sliding scale, but I don't make enough money, especially with like my debt payments, to like be able to just go get therapy. So if anybody has any good online therapist recommendations that don't charge a lot, my girlfriend recommended, she's like, well, maybe you could go like twice a month or once a month or something. And I was like, I might be able to swing that, especially if I can like knock off like one or two of my debt bills. I think I can afford to go to therapy. There's like two big ones, like my two biggest monthly payments. I think if I could pay off one of those, then I think I could more comfortably afford going to therapy, twice a month or something. And I think that would accelerate my ability to do well. But in the meantime, I'm just raw dogging life, I guess, and doing my best to like read books about it and be like, okay, and trying to glean what I can from the internet on how to like process my own stuff and be conscious about the stuff I'm taking in, the stuff I'm letting into my brain, and because there's an author I like named Austin Kleon. He wrote a bunch of books on like creativity and stuff, and his most recent book is called Keep Going, and it's kind of like strategies for going when the things get tough, and he wrote it right before COVID happened, which is great timing. But he talks about how like you don't really need the news. Like the news, especially these days, the news is so just targeted just to be negative stuff, and like you can kind of get all the news you need by just kind of checking in once or twice a week. You don't need to be that informed, And it's like because if it's really big, like you'll hear about it. Someone will talk about it. They'll tell you their opinion, because that's how it is anymore. But like I don't need to go on Reddit and see like the awful everything posts about that this murder suicide happened, or like this person abused their child, or this company did this thing to their employees, and you're like, I could live the rest of my life without having heard that, and I would have been better off, because all it does is it just every time you see it, it just takes your opinion of the world and life and that just down just a little bit. And so it's like you want to center, like there's some subreddits. There's one called the Hope Posting, HOPE, if you can't understand my whisper. Hope is a weird word to whisper. It's hard to make out. But it's just like good stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I want more of that. And if there was just like an app or a YouTube channel, which like maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just make up to maybe that could be an ASMR sub-series, or if someone wants to take that idea and steal it, please let me know that you've done it, and I will subscribe to that right away, because like I just want the good. Just give me the good stuff. Make me feel good about this whole, everything that's going on out there, and that helps me feel good in here. You know what I mean? Like, so I've just been working really hard to curate things, and somebody mentioned you can mute subreddits, and I haven't figured out how to do that, but that's next on my list after this video, after I go, put this video together. I don't do anything to edit these videos. I just cut off the beginning and the end and fade, and that's it. And I guess I tweak the audio. I do some editing, but not like, but I have ideas for a YouTube series where I'm actually like doing YouTube like you're supposed to, with cuts and stuff and B-roll. I just haven't gotten there yet. It's like I got behind. It's like I keep getting into these like, I've caught up to work, and then I'm behind again, and I got up to work, and it's like, let me get the client stuff done first, and then I'll make some lovely stuff for you lovely people. But in the meantime, you're just stuck with the rambles. Deal with it. ASMR bully coming at you. Still drinking Mountain Dew. Sorry, Stevia. I still love Stevia. Oh, but like, I need to back off the Mountain Dew. I need to get back off the sodas, because I'm drinking way too many of them. I don't know, I probably had 4 of them today, something like that. Which, that's just too much soda. It's too much. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. That's what I'm focusing on. That's what I'm thinking about. Really trying to spend the time, spend the energy, do the process of taking out the things that don't serve me, the things that make me feel bad, trying to reduce that, trying to reduce that part, my media diet. I don't know what you want to call it, but I'm trying to take that out. So, anyway, that's all I got today. So that's my advice. I guess this is an advice video. I don't think so. But think about what it is you take in. You know, what are you watching? Who are you subscribed to? Who are you following on Instagram or TikTok if you're on TikTok, or Twitter if you're on Twitter, or Facebook even. You know, you can. I know at Facebook how to do it. You can take people out of your feed without unfriending them. You know, if it's like your weird uncle that posts a bunch of gross political stuff, you could just like unfollow that. Your life will be so much better for it, I promise you. Anyway, that all said, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, subscribe if you haven't. I gotta start doing those call to actions, I guess. Yeah, and I hope everything's going wonderful for you. I hope everything's going well. I hope you're doing well, and if not, I hope that turns around for you real soon. And if you want it to turn around just a tiny bit faster, think about your media diet. Think about what you're consuming, and take out some of the poison. It will lift you, I promise. So, thank you as always for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.